The following program contains strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Today, on an all-new Dr. Phil, when she slammed girls who dress sexy, it sparked outrage.
They would tell me to kill myself.
And controversy.
What would trigger you to say she's a loose woman?
She's wearing the uniform.
Does what you wear...
Girls are trying to outdo each other in their sexuality.
Define who you are.
You're going to decide what somebody should wear? This is censorship and bullying.
Plus, a New York teen makes a tragic decision.
They were calling her a slut. They were calling her a whore.
The young girl commits suicide after allegedly being slut-shamed.
She jumped in front of a moving train.
When I seen her under the train, I kept saying, Felicia, Felicia.
Rest in peace, Felicia.
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take it.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Yesterday, we covered a story that's been all over the headlines, the Steubenville rape case, where two high school football stars are accused of raping a young girl who was seemingly incapacitated. Now, one of the things that I talked about was that in rape cases, people sometimes try to blame the victim. It's something that's become so common and acceptable that there's actually a name for it now. It's called slut shaming. It's so bad that from Hollywood to high schools all over the country, people are now openly and proudly judging, humiliating, and shaming women for how they look and how they dress and how they act. Some people say my first guest, Sabrina, is responsible for accelerating the trend. Now, she's only 16, but she has no problem telling girls to keep their clothes on. Take a look.
About a year ago, I was on a social media site, and I felt like it needed to be addressed that girls should stay modest. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm surrounded by girls that dress inappropriately with their boobs hanging out and their stomach showing. I'm really sarcastic, so I decided to do something that brought out sarcasm. I posted a photo. It started out with, "Hey girls, did you know that your boobs go inside your shirt?" It was like political satires do, because it was taking a serious situation and turning it into comedy. The picture was up, and then suddenly it just went viral. The photo was on practically every social media site. It gave a lot of people opportunities to just talk bad about me and bring me down. Other girls would go on my pictures and say, "How can you bully girls and tell them what to wear?" People would send me death threats and say that they hated me. I was actually called the cancer of the internet. There were a lot of people impersonating me, making me look really bad. Somebody would make a comment on the fake profile, and then the person that was trying to fake me would make a stupid comment back, making me look ignorant or making me look like a hypocrite. I got so upset that I stopped posting my pictures. I felt really ashamed and bad about myself. I didn't feel as confident as I used to be. Knowing that this picture started this huge slut-shaming trend, that wasn't my intention. I don't advocate bullying, but if I didn't take drastic measures, nobody would have listened to what I had to say. If somebody's offended, then maybe I hit a hot button on them and maybe they'll change, which was kind of the whole point of the picture. I don't regret putting the picture up, and I do still stand behind my opinion.
Okay, well, I love the courage of your convictions. I do. I'm glad that you stand behind what you say. I thought that was a very clever post. You just made all of this up, right?
Yes.
And what was your motive for this?
Like I said, I'm in high school, so I see girls, teenagers and younger than me, all over town, in school, on the internet, posting pictures inappropriately. And I decided, because I had a lot of followers on Instagram, that I needed to address the issue.
Mm-hmm. So why is this your job?
Well, it's not my job, but some people don't have that, like the parent or somebody to teach them what's right and wrong, so I felt like I should just say my opinion on the subject.
But then people started kind of goofing on it, right? Mm-hmm. Some girls copycatted it. Here's one. The first box said, hey, girls, did you know that, in the second box, your boobs, third box, can go wherever they want, fourth box, because it's your body. So what did you think of that?
It's her opinion, so, I mean, she has a right to her opinion, so it doesn't really bother me.
Right. Then boys started copycatting it.
Yes.
Okay, and the first box says, guys, did you know? Second box, that, third box, our boobs, fourth box, are virtually useless. Okay, so they started, this is an example of that. What did you think of that one?
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, you thought that one was pretty funny. Now, some people had a bad reaction to this, right?
Right.
How did that express?
People would go on social media that I had, and they would say rude things to me. They would tell me to kill myself, just stuff like that.
For expressing your opinion?
Yes.
People can disagree with what you said, but I didn't find what you said to be aggressive or offensive. It was just your opinion, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought you said it in a clever way. I thought it was pretty funny, and it was just your opinion. You know that this kind of became the genesis for what people are now calling slut-shaming.
Yes.
But that wasn't your intention.
That wasn't my intention at all.
At all.
I'm like 100% against making people feel bad about themselves.
It's not your intention to bully anybody. It's not your intention to make anybody feel bad. You're just saying, here's what I think, here's how I feel. Mm-hmm. And you can say, anybody else can say what they think or what they feel.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Now, this phenomena isn't limited to just teens bashing each other online, which I'm not saying that's what at all Sabrina was doing. She was just expressing her opinion. Grown men are getting in on the act. My next guest, Jason, is one of those men, and he says that slut-shaming is a noble thing to do. Take a look.
I am firmly anti-slut. I think our society would just be a lot better if we had as few sluts as possible. When the topic of slut-shaming comes up, people jump in and say, ooh, shaming, that's a terrible thing. We shouldn't have that in society. I think being a slut, that's a bad thing. I don't think it's logical to respect a person who won't respect themselves. I think slut-shaming is a legitimate practice and it should be respected. There are many very serious consequences to being a slut. They might get a disease, they might get harmed because they're attracting the wrong crowd of people. They could get pregnant, they may not know the father. They should be taking responsibility for their own actions. That is what slut-shaming is about, being responsible for who you sleep with and who you spread your legs for. We should not feel ashamed to say that's bad behaviour and we don't want it in our society.
Okay, you're going a whole lot further than she was going.
Yes.
Because she was just saying, hey, here's what I think. This is my standard. But you're judging people, right?
Well...
You've got a standard, and you're saying...
Well, I'm saying I should be allowed to express that...
Yeah. How do you decide who's a slut and who's not?
Oh, by their behaviour. If they're irresponsible, they just spread their legs with whoever they want, whenever they want, then that is...
Have you seen one person spread their legs for somebody else? Have you actually seen this? I mean, no, seriously, that's what you just said. And I think if you say this, you need to back it up. Have you seen somebody spread their legs for somebody else?
Yes, when I was a teenager.
Really? Where was this happen?
When I was a teenager, I've been to a few parties and...
No, I mean, not when you were a teenager. You weren't doing this when you were a teenager. You're doing it now. When did you see, what, last week? Did you see somebody? The week before? The week before?
No.
So you're calling people sluts that you just assume are spreading their legs for just anybody?
No. I'm totally against that. I mean, only if it is true, you should not jump to a conclusion.
And how do you know if it's true or not?
Oh, you might hear it, you might find out. Because if your friends are telling you, oh, I was with this girl last night, and then, but so, hang on, my other friend was also with a girl just like that. Oh, hang on.
But you think it's a worthwhile and honourable pursuit to go do this?
It's something we do all the time. We do it with children. It's like if we've got a child that likes to scratch people, we don't say, oh, that's just her way of expressing herself.
Okay, well, here's one of the quotes that you said. If a woman dresses like a slut, teases drunk and sexually frustrated men in a shady bar late at night, It doesn't make the rape sexual assault okay, but does tell me that woman is a stupid, irresponsible twit, and honestly, I have no sympathy for her.
Well, yes. It's like, imagine Lady Gaga wearing her meat suit in the savannah and a lion comes up and eats her. It's like, well, maybe the meat suit might not have been the best choice of apparel.
Okay, I'm not going to respond to that. But let me ask you, you said if someone dresses like a slut, let's define that. So you can spot them by the way they dress. What's a slutty outfit?
Very revealing.
Cleavage?
Cleavage or...
Short?
We judge people a lot by what they wear. And...
Well, right. That's why that was the first thing you went to, dresses like a slut. So if it's low cut, that would be slutty. I was standing by a woman recently that was in a low cut. Would this be... Would this be slutty?
I think she's dressed very tastefully.
You think she's dressed tastefully? Yeah.
Thank you.
Why do I always look like a troll? And Robin always looks like a model on a magazine. So that wouldn't be slutty.
No.
Yeah, that saves you an ass whipping.
There.
Not from me, I'm talking about from her. All right, we got to take a break. Next, Jason meets his match, a YouTube personality who says, stop reducing women's status from human being to whore. We'll be right back.
For dudes, promiscuity is not a bad decision. Promiscuity is a very good decision. And even when guys do make bad decisions, they're dudes. Dudes make bad decisions sometimes.
Plus, she's been called a slut since she was 15 years old.
Why am I being called a slut? Am I slutty because I say a lot of sexual innuendos? Am I slutty because I flaunt my sexuality? I don't know what the deal is, but females, let's get it all together. I am not a slut.
Today we're talking about a disturbing new trend on the internet called slut shaming. It's when someone, usually women, are made to feel inferior for some people saying that they are dressing, acting, or engaging in inappropriate behavior that connotes sexuality. And some people just say, look, this is crossing the line, it's inappropriate, it's teasing, it's in some way provocative. Now, YouTube personality Lacey Green says slut-shaming is not about teaching women self-respect, it's about trying to control them. Take a look.
Slut-shaming is when we insult a woman because she expressed her sexuality in a way that we don't like or approve of. Historically, there was a strong demand that women not have sex until they were married. We said, women, you don't give away your precious gift until you're under the ownership of a man. We've opened our minds a little bit since then. Now society says, okay, fine. If you're not gonna wait till you're married, you at least better love him. The bottom line throughout the ages is that sluts are different kinds of girls who do bad stuff and disobey. For women, promiscuity is considered a stupid decision. And when you make bad decisions, you pay the consequences, like losing everyone's respect, being shamed, being called a slut, being bullied, and perhaps even being assaulted or raped. Well, what'd you expect? You were being a big whore. But for dudes, promiscuity is not a bad decision. Promiscuity is a very good decision. And even when guys do make bad decisions, they're dudes. Dudes make bad decisions sometimes. They can't help themselves. And this, my dear friends, is what sexism is like.
All right, well, Lacey, thanks. I appreciate you being here. You've been listening to what we've been talking about so far. What do you think about all of this?
Well, I'd have to disagree with Jason. Like I said in the video, you know, I really think that slut-shaming is really harmful. And I think that it is, underneath it all, just a method to keep women in their place.
What bothers me about this is kind of censorship and bullying. Like, you're going to decide, you're going to decide what somebody should wear and how somebody should behave. Why should we leave that in? Why should you be in charge of that? Who cares what you think?
I'm not telling people what they should wear.
You said just the same as if Lady Gaga wore a meat dress in a jungle.
It's still a tragedy if she gets eaten.
If you wear a meat dress in a jungle, you're asking for it. If you wear a short dress in a bar, you're asking for it.
It's not a perfect world, and there are lots of people who are dangerous, who, like, the vast majority of men are really harmless, and they've got no interest in hurting women.
You're talking about two different things.
All right, look, Tricia's here. She says she's been called a slut forever. Let's bring her into this conversation. She says it's women that picks on her, not men. Take a look.
Blonde. Big boobs. Apparently all these things makes me one giant slut bag. Let's talk about this word slut, shall we? I mean, really, how loose are we using this word now? Back in my day, slut meant you were sleeping and having sex with every single person in the school, in the town. I mean, that's what a slut was. Nowadays, if you show any bit of cleavage anywhere, you're considered a slut. I hear this term referred to me by females most of the time. What makes me a slut? Why am I being called a slut? Am I slutty because I say a lot of sexual innuendos? Am I slutty because I flaunt my sexuality? I don't know what the deal is, but females, let's get it all together. I am not a slut. Let's not use the word sluts. Let's not use the word whores. I mean, we're females. We're supposed to be building each other up, not bringing each other down.
That's right.
Okay, thanks for joining us. You get picked on?
Yes.
Why do they? Who picks on you and why?
Started when I was in high school, but now it's just people on the internet like this guy who just thinks everybody gets to say whatever they want and they don't care who they hurt by calling them sluts. And it's people who are, you know, behind the screen. Now in person, he's cowering back a little because he can't face the fact that you're calling him out. It's all these people behind a screen that thinks they're all powerful, and then they meet face to face. It's like, oh no, that's not what I meant.
Would she fall into your category?
I don't know her.
Okay, now be honest. If you were sitting at home and you were kind of scrolling around your computer and you happened onto her, what would your reaction and judgment be? If you were sitting at home and you were kind of scrolling around your computer and you happened onto her, what would your reaction and judgment be?
Oh, I'd think, judging from what little I know, just looking at her, I'd go, yeah, she probably is quite loose.
Are you a party girl?
Not anymore. Even when I was a party girl and stuff, I don't see why people have to call people sluts, especially guys. It's bad enough coming from women, but like to guy to call a girl a slut, it's like, that's so ridiculous. Whether I'm promiscuous or not, I'm not at the moment, but even if I was, you know, what does it matter to him? Why does he get to judge people, you know? I don't understand that part of it. I really don't.
What would it be that would trigger you to say she's a loose woman? Is it because she has low cut?
Oh, she's wearing the uniform.
This is what you described, right? Low cut, short dress?
To get attention.
Yeah. Do you dress this way provocatively for men? Why do you dress the way you do?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm all about being feminine and girly. When I was younger, I looked like a boy. So I'm all about, like, just showing my ass. It's flaunting my body because I'm a curvy girl, so I'm proud of it. And, I'm just proud of it. I don't do it for attention. I'm not even interested in men right now, so.
And even if it was for attention, like, so what? I just don't understand what is inherently wrong about dressing the way you want. There's no moral bad with it. It doesn't say something about someone. I think, if anything, the people who are judging the person as knowing so much about them just by looking at them, like, that says something about the person who's judging,
Most men don't care what women wear. Women are the ones who really care about what other women are wearing. And
I think a lot of people care about what women wear, and we have these sort of judgments that, we hear in the back of our head, like,
and I hear women far more often than men.
Yeah, and that's a problem, because it is women and not men.
But you just assumed I was loose by what I was wearing, which is so crazy. I haven't had sex in like 3 years, So it's like, the fact that you think I'm loose, I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Well, I don't know you. So
but you just called me loose on national TV. Do you know how, like, me at 24
based on the information I had. I mean, I don't know you.
But why do you say, you can't make those judgments? You know, like you said, you don't know me, so why say those words? That's hurtful. I mean, now I'm 24, but if you say that about a girl who does have, like, low self-esteem, that's hurtful. You know?
Well, people say hurtful things all the time. It's like if...
Well, that doesn't make it okay.
No.
All right, we got to take a break. Next, we've all heard of the infamous walk of shame. Well, now women are taking to the streets and proudly doing the slut walk. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Scantily clad women and others, they all marched through Philadelphia to raise awareness about sexual assault and try to counter the idea that the victim is somehow responsible. Philadelphia is the latest city to host the global phenomenon known as the Slut Walk protest. The movement began after a controversial comment by a police officer in Toronto, Canada.
The Slut Walk is a protest by a bunch of sluts in support of slutism. It's pro-sexual irresponsibility and it's pro-sexual perversion. The Slut Walks are nothing but public whining sessions about how hard life is for me being a girl.
Well, that was Jason, who says he went to his first slut walk to participate and the second one to laugh. Now meet Kira. She is a conservative writer and web host who thinks women should stop dressing like sluts.
If a woman dresses like a slut, calls herself a slut, and acts like a slut all happily, she shouldn't be surprised when people treat her like a slut. I'm not a slut shamer, but I am an advocate for modesty. It is a term that has been presented to shut up people like me. My concern is with how over-sexualized a lot of our young women are. I feel like there is a trend in society nowadays where girls, especially teenagers and even younger, are trying to outdo each other in their sexuality. The idea of how many guys can I sleep with? How many risque behaviors can I engage in? Is my blouse lower than the next girl's? And I don't think that it is an issue of wanting to be a slut. I think it's an issue of wanting attention. I'm not saying that women have to dress in high collars or dress like nuns, but what I am saying is that women need to put a little bit more thought into the image that they're projecting.
Okay, you've been listening to everything we've been talking about. What do you want? I'll give you the floor first. What do you want to weigh in?
I'm disturbed by kind of the narrative of that term, slut shaming, because I think it's almost making people who advocate for modesty feel ashamed. My point of view isn't so much about how you dress, but like how you conduct yourself. I know that promiscuity does have consequences that can sit with you as a woman that will follow you for the rest of your life. And that's something that, you know, I'm concerned about as a mom, as a woman.
Are you saying that women do not have the right to choose how they want to dress and behave and should be dictated to by someone like this or whoever? I mean...
My point is that I think if you want to give your opinion about the issue, I should be able to give my opinion. I don't have a problem. Obviously, it's your body, your clothes, your money, you do what you want. But when you go on the internet, you make videos, you make YouTube videos. There are young girls that are watching that who might be receiving a message that could lead to more pain down the road. So I don't have a problem with what you want to do, but when you make it public, you should expect a public response.
Slut shaming, the term, is not to say that everybody needs to dress a certain way. It's saying that we respect people who dress all different ways. If you want to dress one way, dress that way, by all means, and I'm going to respect you for it. You know, we really need to think about the messages that we're sending and empower people to make choices for themselves.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I'm saying empowerment doesn't come from claiming the term slut and saying, oh, look, I'm a slut. That's not empowerment.
Maybe not for you.
Empowerment
Maybe that's not empowerment for you.
You know, projecting the image that says I'm valuable, you know, I'm worthy.
But that may not be empowering for you, but you cannot criticize, you cannot humiliate, you cannot censor, you cannot hold them up to public ridicule and not consider yourself a bully. And when people go on the internet and they start holding people up in their communities to ridicule, criticism and humiliation. There's no other way to call that except bully.
I'm not advocating Jason's position.
I
am advocating modesty, and I don't think that that's something to be ashamed of. And yet,
no, it's
I
not.
feel like people like me are being made to feel ashamed because we're saying, look, it's not healthy to be sleeping with multiple partners when you're a young woman. There are consequences to it, you know, and it's wrong to pretend that there's not.
There's a huge leap from this person dresses a way that you wouldn't to assuming that she's sleeping with a lot of partners and subjecting herself to STDs, pregnancies, et cetera, et cetera.
My point is that if you're going to walk around and call yourself a slut and happily claim that term, you shouldn't be offended if other people choose to treat you that way. And I don't want our girls to be treated that way.
But here's the thing, like, how you dress should not say... How you dress should not be contingent for respect. People deserve respect, you know? And wearing slutty clothes does not mean that you're not entitled to be treated like a human being anymore.
Yeah, we raised two boys, and they're very different in many respects. And they're very different in the way they look. One of them is very kind of preppy and kind of mainstream Wall Street looking. And the other one is a very serious rock musician and looks very different from his brother. But they're very much alike when you talk to them. And if you judge them, and if I go to his concert, there's some really unusual looking people there. But if you talk to them, they're great kids, you know? They're really nice kids. So no, I don't think it's weird to not judge people when you first see them. You just got to take a minute and talk to them. You know, just last month, Ken Baker, chief news correspondent for E!, made headlines when he called out Taylor Swift for being less than chaste. Ken posted a picture of Miley Cyrus and wrote beside her picture, "Is called a slut or bitch every day, has been with the same guy for more than 3 years and is engaged to him." Beneath Miley's picture on Ken's post is a picture of Taylor Swift. Beside her picture, he wrote, "Is called sweet, elegant, and inspirational, has been with more than 13 guys for the past 3 years." Now, Ken received a lot of backlash for that posting. So, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. It just seems to me that when we start labeling and judging and then putting that out on the internet where there's no control whatsoever, it can get really hurtful. All right, next, a young girl actually commits suicide after allegedly being slut-shamed. We'll be right back.
Staten Island community is mourning the tragic death of a teenager. 15-year-old Felicia Garcia jumped in front of a moving train.
I kept saying, "Felicia, Felicia, talk." She didn't answer.
Today we're talking about women who are being criticized, harassed, bullied, and shamed for how they dress and act. Now, just 2 months ago, 15-year-old high school freshman Felicia Garcia committed suicide after allegedly being slut-shamed for sleeping with 4 football players. Take a look.
The Staten Island community is mourning the tragic death of a teenager. Police say 15-year-old Felicia Garcia jumped in front of a moving train at the Huguenot station yesterday afternoon. Authorities are investigating reports from Garcia's friends that she was bullied.
The day she died, Felicia looked very upset. She looked like she's been crying a lot. There were a group of girls picking on her. They were calling her a slut, making fun of her.
Well, the rumor going around that morning in school was that Felicia had did some things that night with the 4 guys on the football team. I knew the guys that was involved for a long time. I talked to Felicia about it like that night, and then she was like, "Oh, a lot of people was judging me because of what I did." And I was just like, "Just ignore what they're saying to you." And she was just like, "I can't, it hurts."
Felicia went to the deans and tried to get it to stop. I heard Felicia yelling, and I heard her trying to defend herself, you know, trying to tell them to have them leave me alone, and it's not fair. And then she walked out of the room. 1:40 was the last time I saw Felicia. And she told me she'll be fine, and that was it. And then she said, we kissed each other on the cheek, I love you, see you tomorrow. And that was it. That was the last time I saw her. And then come 3 o'clock, I get word that someone jumped in front of the train. And then I went on Twitter and I checked, and it said, rest in peace, Felicia. Sorry.
When we found out that Felicia was dead, the 4 guys, one of them was crying, one of them was on one knee praying, the other 2 was just freaking out like they didn't want to believe it. The boys involved, they got suspended from the team. People saying, oh, it's the football team's fault.
Felicia even said herself, the boys at the party had nothing to do with bullying her. It was the 2 boys and a group of girls who were harassing her. What bothered me is people that were gossiping about Felicia and then crying the next day is that it's their fault. Why would you pick on the girl then? People say words don't hurt, but they kill.
Why did you want to talk about this? You wanted to be her voice. You wanted to talk about what happened. Why and what did you want to say?
Felicia's not here to explain what happened, and Felicia's not here to defend herself. So I was one of her close friends, and like many other people who are her close friends, we want to be the ones to stand up for her.
You say she went in, she talked to a counselor. Apparently that didn't give her help and relief. It didn't let up when she talked to the counselor, right?
Yeah, she tried to have a mediation with the people that were picking on her, and some of them just didn't want to see her.
What were they saying about her? How were they attacking her?
They were calling her a slut, they were calling her a whore, telling everybody in the school about it. And we go to a school of 4,000 people. That's a lot of people. You know, you don't want to hear 4,000 kids talking, oh, did you hear what Felicia did at the party? And you don't want to hear that. She basically told me that she just wanted all the bullying to stop, and because she's not a slut. You know, she made a mistake.
Were they doing this to her face? Were they doing it on the internet? Were they doing it on, you know, text, social media? What were they doing?
Some was directly to her face, and then some was behind computer screens and phone screens.
What do you think she was saying to herself? Do you think this overwhelmed her to the point that she thought it would never stop? Do you think that she felt like this was her only way out?
You know, teenagers, when one thing happens to us, we feel like it's the end of the world. And Felicia had so many problems besides just what was going on with the bullying. And I don't think that those kids realized that. And I think once that she was getting picked on from those kids, I think that was just something that overwhelmed her and pushed her way too far.
If somebody does make a mistake like this, if somebody does some type of promiscuous behavior, and people look at that, so they go, oh, labeled slut behavior, whore behavior, whatever. They are looking at the behavior, and they're so shallow in labeling that they don't look beneath it. Promiscuity is not about sex. Promiscuity is about lack of self-worth. It's about a need to be accepted. It's about lack of self-esteem. It's about pain. It's about a lot of things, and it doesn't have anything to do with sex. So when people come along and throw a label on somebody, when people come along and put that kind of hurtful moniker on someone, they're completely ignoring what's really going on with that person, and it's just idiotic. And so they're just adding to what maybe motivated that to begin with, and it can be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Up next, one of Felicia's friends witnessed the tragedy. We're going to hear the heart-wrenching details of what happened when we come back.
I kept saying, Felicia, Felicia, talk. She didn't answer. I couldn't really see her face or anything, but it smelled like fire.
I miss Felicia more than I can describe. She would do anything for anybody. There's no one there to laugh with, like the way we would all laugh. It's like a missing piece of the puzzle.
Felicia was a fun person to be around. Her smile was just perfect. It's like the type of smile that you would like to see every day. She was just a good kid. I think I miss her so much.
Well, that was Alicia and Josh, two high school friends talking about their dear friend, 15-year-old Felicia Garcia, who committed suicide by throwing herself in front of a train. Now, Felicia was allegedly bullied after having sex with some football players at a party. Here's what one boy who witnessed Felicia's fall to her death had to say.
I found out that Felicia had sexual activity with 4 of the kids because I heard it around school. I knew she was smarter and could have made better choices, but she was looking for attention and she got it the wrong way. I wanted to get through to Felicia to tell her why would you do this to yourself? Now people are gonna look at you different and make fun of you. And she got mad at me. The day Felicia died and I seen the train coming, I said, "Oh, Felicia, the train's coming." She said, "No, finally, I'm happy the train's coming." And she put her bag down and she looked at me and she just leaned over. And that was the last time I seen my friend. When I seen her under the train, I was in shock. I kept saying, "Felicia, Felicia, talk." She didn't answer. So when I went and I tried to go in the tracks to probably grab her, and when I looked down and all you seen was her leg and her foot, I couldn't really see her face or anything, but it smelled like fire. All the kids that knew Felicia were crying, and I got on the bus and I told my mom, "I don't want to come to school anymore, I just want to leave." I hope that Dr. Phil could get this through to other people and maybe make them feel different about themselves before they do what my friend Felicia did to herself.
I appreciate his comments. I appreciate you coming here and giving her a voice.
What she did didn't make her who she was.
Right. I want to introduce Gabriella Von Ray. She's an activist and an anti-bullying expert that is here today, and she has written a book, With All My Might, about her own experience with bullying. And just kind of the last thing that was said in the tape, Gabriella was hopes that at the end of this show we could have some things to say to kids that might be in a similar situation. If kids are dealing with somebody right now that either themselves or a friend is really beleaguered right now, what can they do in support of that person so they don't feel like suicide is their only way out? What can they do to help?
Well, I think, first of all, we need to really understand that we're all responsible for someone like Felicia Garcia. And I would like people to understand, when someone makes a mistake, you really do not have to amplify it. That person is already humiliated enough. And when I speak in schools, 85% of teenage girls like you put up your hand and say, "I've been bullied." So you've been there. You know how much these words hurt. But when they're written down on a wall, like social media, they're so amplified for the whole world to see. And we leave this girl or a boy standing there all alone. We can't do that.
And I think it's really important that kids understand that telling is not tattling. Yes. I mean, if you've got a friend in trouble and your instincts tell you that they are in danger, they're in dire straits, going to someone you trust, whether it's your parent or a teacher that you trust, an adult that you trust, a clergyman, whoever, and saying, I'm in over my head here, I've got somebody in trouble, and I need help, then, that's not tattling on somebody, that's not informing on somebody, that's leading your friend to the help and the resources that they need. This is not a time that you want to let the kids work it out themselves. No. It's a time that you want to step up.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of my guests today. Special thanks to anti-bully expert and author of With All My Might, Gabriella Von Ray, for her expertise on this very difficult subject. And I want to say to all of you out there, particularly to the young people, understand there's a lot of power with the internet. Think about what you're doing, and it's awful easy to lose empathy when you don't have to look at who you're writing about or who you're talking about. And parents, understand that kids have the knowledge to use computers and the internet, but they don't necessarily have the wisdom, which means we've got to stay involved and know what's going on. And that may mean we got to up our literacy of all of these social platforms and networks and know what's going on out there, because our child might be getting bullied. Our child might be doing some of the bullying without realizing what's going on. So I know there's going to be a lot of conversation about this show, so I'll be looking to hear what you say on the message boards, on Facebook, on Twitter. So I appreciate hearing from all of you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.